I think it's funny the way we're going to start this out, because we're actually starting out kind of with the end of the year versus the beginning of the year, because our number 3 top moment of the United States women's national team calendar year is Carli Lloyd's retirement, which took a long time. I mean, it was like kind of a retirement that wasn't necessarily like retirements in the past, because there have been some big names, right, in the past that have bid farewell to the United States women's national team. Abby Wambach is someone who comes to mind. Somebody like a Shannon Box, somebody like Lauren Holiday, right? And typically there's a game that is played, and then you say, okay, thank you for your service, and farewell. But with Carli Lloyd, after the Olympics, Lloyd made an announcement: hey, I'm going to be saying goodbye to the game, both on the international and club level. And they made it a big event. So with this announcement of her retirement, they said there's going to be 4 post-Olympic friendlies with the United States women's national team, because there's always a bit of a post-Olympic tour for these players. And within that, they were going to be celebrating her very long career, as she retired at the age of 39.
This has to be one of our top moments of the year, right? And when we looked at this, although chronologically it's not quite in order, but that doesn't matter. This is number 3 moment, because Carli Lloyd, the GOAT, she retired. And as you mentioned, Sandra, it was very ceremonious how she did it. She had this beautiful farewell tour that she got to go on to really say goodbye to all of her fans. And we spoke with her after she announced her retirement after the Olympics, saying like, how are you going to approach these next few weeks and your final 4 games wearing the United States jersey? And her biggest takeaway that she was looking forward to going into the next few weeks is that she was just going to take it all in and have those times to be emotional, which she has never really been throughout her career. But we've talked so much about her, and as we kind of wound down her final game and things like that, it was like the Carli Lloyd farewell tour was going on for forever. And it was kind of nice to have that time to say goodbye to someone like that, and for her to really celebrate all of her accomplishments and her accolades. And I hoped she went out the way she did. I mean, it looked like she did, because all of the different gestures that she made towards the end of her career. I mean, her decorated career of soccer, right? Like 2 World Cups, 2 Olympic gold medals, ending on a bronze medal in the Tokyo Olympics, and then announcing that her number 10 jersey would be handed over to Lindsey Horan. I think that was a really historic moment when that number 10 jersey got passed along to another great in Lindsey Horan. And then in Carli Lloyd's very last game with the United States in Minnesota, as she gets subbed off, she takes her time, she takes her shin guards off, she undoes her cleats, and she takes off her Lloyd jersey to reveal a Hollins jersey, her husband's name and her married name that she now gets to celebrate and live on with. And the stadium was just shaking with cheers and joy because of that. So we did have to touch on it. And then after she retired, I don't know if you follow her on social media, she went on this like incredible trip, and she kept posting like, hey, I'm not working out and I'm on vacation. This is the first time I've done this pretty much in her life. And at 39 years, to be able to retire at her own time, in her own way, is really special. It really is. And to go on the farewell tour that she did, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention her in one of the top moments for the U.S. women's national team this year.
Yeah, the 4 friendlies in September and October, going up against Paraguay and then going up against South Korea. You just got to see like some final moments there for a player like that, right? And obviously 2 different teams, and there was a different score lines for each of these teams. But in one point, putting up a massive amount of goals, right? Like just doing Carli Lloyd things against a much lower ranked team, right? Just things that we weren't too surprised to see out of her, but also just sort of like she had mentioned when she was on the show with us, just like she said, she was like, I'm sure once it gets closer, I'm probably just gonna let those emotions fly, which I guess for Carli Lloyd was kind of rare, and it was, and she was correct. She was definitely showing her emotions exited the game. But it's also been funny to me just to sort of see, yes, she exited from her playing career, but there is still Carli Lloyd headlines out there, and people are like still talking about how she's winning awards even post retirement, and that she eventually maybe would like to see herself return to the game a little bit in maybe a administrative role, or how that would look moving forward. So she's someone who's no longer playing, but definitely still has soccer on the brain. So we'll see what happens with Carli Lloyd in the future.